Let me tell you something, Chuck. Let me tell you why we are going to win the Democratic nomination and why we're going to beat Donald Trump.
It's been a tough couple of months lately as a Bernie Sanders supporter. I've been a Bernie Sanders supporter since late 2015, when, as many of you probably, was feeling hopeless about the future of humanity. Felt that power was too strong, the structure was too big to battle, and there was no way of breaking through. But along came this man, this old 74-year-old at the time, and started a campaign with so much energy and so much passion. I had no idea who he was. I remember hearing his name in 2006 when he got elected to the Senate as an independent, but I was not acquainted with his record and his personality and his character. And along came this man in 2015 and started hammering and hammering and hammering the correct points over and over again. And I was hearing this man from where I live in Peru, and I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe that there was a politician in America that thought in that way, and not only thought in that way, but had a record of consistency, of a moral spine to always back up his arguments and his positions. So that awoke something in me, like really motivated me to keep on going and keep on following these elections. I followed them in 2016 with passion, with burning passion. From here, from my room in Lima, I felt I was in there. I felt I was in every primary. I felt I was with Bernie. And along comes this man who no one will give a dime for. No one will ever thought that will amount to anything in the 2016 primaries. But this man, ahead of his time, probably by 30 years, encountered a generation of people who were thinking in exactly the same way than he does. Just like me, but that we were hopeless. We were resigned because we couldn't see a way through. And he gave us two things. He gave us the channel, the way, the route, the direction for where to go. And second, he showed us how many of us there are. How many of us really feel that way? How many of us want to change the way in which humans interact with each other in America and in the world? I think there's a generation of people, and it's not only a generational thing. There's older people too who think this way, but sometimes time really can hammer your spirit. But the younger generation in this day and age have all the energy and all the desire to change the dynamics of human interaction. And I think it coincides with the fact that we can actually change them. Before, it's important to note that humans had to be in confrontation with one another because of a lack of resources, because of scarcity. We've reached a point in humanity, in the history of humanity, where that's not necessarily the case anymore. We don't need to be in that confrontation. We're just operating by default on that system, on those dynamics. So it's our duty as the young people of this generation, of this time, to change those dynamics, to bring the future to humanity, a new era. I know it sounds like too idealistic, too big, but it's the truth. We have the ability to do it. We have the spirit and the will to do it. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse to say, damn it, no, you see, everything's too big. He appeared. Bernie appeared. This man has been fighting this battle when the system was even bigger, was even stronger, was even more unbeatable. And he kept on going. He kept on going for 30 years, doing his thing, working hard, hammering through, and now at the end of his life, how beautiful. At the end of his life, he encounters a whole generation of people who were not even born when he started doing this, that really agree with him. and that give him that power, and that understand that we can work together with him on the top as the president and with us on the base, moving the energy towards that direction. He understands it perfectly. He has it really clear. He has the panorama, how things work. He has it really, really clear. And he's the only politician in America, maybe in the world, that understands this at that depth. That's why, too, in the current panorama, in the current scenario, I feel a little bit sad that Bernie's not getting the traction that I was hoping he will get. Maybe it's a little bit early yet, but I see Elizabeth Warren gaining that traction. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with Elizabeth Warren. She's all right. She has a heart. Her heart is in the right place. But she's no Bernie Sanders. She does not have the vision. She does not have the will, the moral spine, the energy, the presence to fight this huge beast that we are going to fight. You have to be fearless. You have to know exactly who you are and who you're working for. And I don't think Elizabeth Warren is that person. I think she's a good person, but I don't think she has the qualities that are needed for this scenario. Bernie Sanders has those qualities. He has the perfect qualities for this scenario because he understands it's not about him. It's about him leading the way and rallying people into a direction. It's not about him. And that's what makes him different from any other candidate, including Elizabeth Warren. So we, Bernie supporters, we have to fight harder than ever. We have to make that spirit burn until the end of eternity. He has to become the president. This is the start of a new era. Of course, getting him elected is just the first step. Then it will be a battle every day. But it's a beautiful battle that I'm sure many of you are so willing, are so looking forward to fight. Just like I do right now. Like, I'm getting emotional talking about this. And I'm sure many of you are like this too. And it's such a beautiful energy that could be used. Imagine in what ways it could be used to change the future of humanity, to change the path that humanity is taking. Because right now we decide where we go. Right now we decide where humanity goes. Does the gap between the rich and the poor, the have and the have-nots, keeps on increasing? Or we decide to create a global dynamic, human dynamics, interactions, rules, structures that allow us to flourish together. And it's not unicorns and rainbows talk. This is real. We can do this. So it's time to choose, and it's time to fight for that. Because now is the time. It's a perfect time. And I'm pretty confident that we're going to make it. And if we don't make it, we'll make it next time. Or the next one. But surrendering and resigning and letting whatever happens hammer our spirit that it's burning like never in history before, it's not an option. So I'm going to start this journey through here, connecting with you all the way until the elections. Hope you join me. Hope I get to know you along the way, because there's nothing more I want than connect with people like you, have that energy to move forward, because this thing feeds itself from the connection, from the interaction. It grows from it. And that's my purpose. That's why I'm talking to this microphone. That's why I'm looking to you through that camera, through my screen. Nothing else. So, see you along the way. Thanks for watching.